All right. Should be hearing me now. Think we're good to go. All right, guys. Good morning. This is the Hurley Investments Trade Findings and Adjustments of October 28th. It is 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. 10:02 a.m. I should be honest. All right. Good to see you guys this morning. Few people here. A few people looks like coming in. Hope you all have had a good week. It's been a bit of a crazy week in our stock market. I mean, not the craziest, but this was yesterday. A big red mark. This is today. I like to just do a little bit of a recap from what I talked about last time. We talked about why we weren't protecting Bank of America profits. We'll come back to Bank of America. But long story short, last week still heading up, still in a bullish trend. So there was no reason to be protecting Bank of America after their earnings as they were still on a run. And why would we be protecting a bullish moving stock? We talked about live within the framework of what we know right now and what we can control. Kind of going back to the whole Monday morning quarterback and how you have to be conscious of that. You can't be so critical of yourself and your own trading or what have you. When it looks like you should have made a different decision, really all we're focusing on is keeping a frame of mind of what we can control, what we can't, and using the best analysis and using the best fundamental analysis, technical analysis, understanding and knowing the current events and current news and economics, knowing those things to the best of our ability and making our best educated decision with what we know right now. I liked how I said this: you don't learn from the past by pretending that you could have known what you know now. What you know now is what you know now. We don't know what's going to happen. That's just a reality. We can't know the future. We can do our best to extrapolate the past. I've said this a few times. This is a quote from Howard Marks, which is and of course my mind forget what I was going to say. Give me a second. Yeah, I totally lost it. It'll come back to me. So the best way to manage last summer, where our stocks went sideways, would have been to run covered calls, protect at the top of sideways trends. Duh. Yes, this is naive, wishful thinking to believe this would have helped us in the future when we base our analysis off of the past of analysis of the past off of knowing what happened now today. So yeah, still can't remember. Oh, that's terrible. I had it and then I completely lost it. All right. Much of this kind of goes in straight into what I want to talk about today. You can kind of see some notes, obviously, so don't get too far ahead of yourselves, but leadership. Got a lot of questions here right off the bat, but I want to hear from you guys. What does a poor leader do versus a strong leader? What is the difference between someone who isn't a leader versus someone who is? Basically, is what I'm asking. What's the difference between a poor leader and a strong leader? Just throw out a couple comments, some qualities of or differences. William says a strong leader knows what to do when the bleep hits the fan. I have a feeling you got that idea somewhere, William. Yes. I'll change it to this. Oh, not that. Let me say it this way. Strong leader has principles and a process of dealing with uncertainty. Okay. Mary says leaders find a way in hard times. That's a even better way of saying it. I like that. Thanks, Mary. Good. All right. I mean, we've got a couple of good, strong leader ones. What about some poor leader ones? I mean, I guess we could just say the opposite of those two things, but William says poor leaders hide. I love it. I'm going to throw one in here. Poor leaders find someone or something else to blame. It's always somebody else's fault. So just some thoughts of some stark differences between yesterday and today. Again, kind of going back to this big red mark and this big white mark here. Yesterday was full of some poor leaders and poor decision makers who followed a herd trend, not even a trend, it was one day, followed a herd mentality and decided, oh, I got to sell some of these stocks. I got to get out of here. Too much for me to handle. This isn't a big difference, but goodness, don't you feel sorry for those poor suckers who sold out of Apple yesterday? Yep, Apple's, they've had it. Can't get above 150. They're done. I gotta get rid of some Apple, only to see it up $3 today. Oh crap, I missed it. Shouldn't have sold Apple. Duh, what was I thinking yesterday? Why did I do that? If you followed the herd yesterday, you'd have sold off a bunch of good stuff. How about today? Well, you'd feel really dumb about it. Just having some principles, some guts to deal with a little bit of typical market uncertainty and having a bit of gumption. I don't know why I use that word. It's a good word. It definitely applies, but I don't know why we're in 1942 again. But some gumption. What else? So let's circle back to Bank of America. Bank of America yesterday. Oh, that's it. Yep, headed top right here. Hit 50, couldn't get over 50. It's gone down. It's but down below the pivot point. We got to protect Bank of America. Oh wait. Oh. Oh, we got to sell Bank of America. It's going down. Reversing a trend here. Oh, wait a minute. It's back up. Side note, I believe I said it looks more, let's see, last Thursday was the 21st. As we were talking about Bank of America and why we might not want to protect it, I said, well, it looks like more like it's going up to 48. And look where it went. Kind of cool. Nice to be right sometimes. But if it kept going down, and if it never went up to 48, we simply would have just followed the trend and made different decisions. And instead of just trying to anticipate as if we know the future, I stuck to the principle of following a trend and being patient. And yeah, it does look like we're struggling to stay over 48. So we'll keep an eye on it. Coming back down from overbought. But right now, not thinking the trend is necessarily over. So I'm going to continue to be patient. Let's see, Ford. And yeah, this kind of has a lot to do with earnings. But for the last 4 days, people were so afraid of what might happen for Ford on earnings. They were not willing to stay in the stock. Hey, 1650, good place to sell off, take some profit. Opens up around 1686. Yeah, I would have liked to see it stay up there at 1750 or 17, but we are approaching the crap hours of the market day, and for heaven's sakes, we're still like 8-9% above where we closed yesterday. I think that's pretty cool, and here's to not getting jerked around by every wind and wave. That's leadership. Just was kind of on my mind as seeing accounts down yesterday, just feeling like there's a lack of leadership in the industry of investing, investment management, a lack of leadership in trading and accountability with retail traders and the decisions they make, and so on and so forth. You got to stick to your principles, and you got to be willing to take some of the crappy days with some of the good days. And here we are a day after the crappy day, and we're making back up everything we lost, or quote unquote lost, or what we were down yesterday. And you know, I like to think that Kevin and I, as we stick to these principles, we're honest with what we know and what we can control, honest with ourselves. I think that we make a pretty good team. Some synergistic effects happening as both of us kind of come at different perspectives. We don't hide when there's some crappy days. We don't avoid our phone calls. We answer the phone. We're upfront. We're honest. We talk you through things. We're always trying to make sure we know as much as possible about our market and about our current events, and making the best decisions possible. We're constantly crunching the numbers and staying on top of fundamentals so that we can justify our decision making to you as clients and walk you through exactly what we're doing. Obviously, we can't guarantee we're always going to make the right decisions, and nobody can really guarantee that, obviously, but we're being honest about them, and there's always a reason, a good reason, for doing what we do, and that has served us in the form of returns over the years pretty well. So there you have it. Any thoughts or questions or anything else you guys would like to add or disagree with? It's telling me more concise language would be clearer for your reader. I don't know how pretty dumb is more concise, could be more concise. Thanks a lot, Microsoft Word. Let's see. Just to follow up with those stocks, Apple up 96,000 for us today. Bank of America up 16,000 for us today. Ford, we don't have the most Ford in the world, but 5,000. Stock is up 12,000. Got to make our move with our protection, probably up at the over the next hour. See if we can catch it at the low of the day, or maybe we think about leaving it on. What else? Under Armour, a little better today. Got it protected. Some good stuff happening, and I like that we have been patient with some things. Let some things have a good run. Take the good while it's coming. All right, enough about that. Let's see. Wanted to mention some things that some trades we've had in the past that would be a good idea to take some profits. First Solar trade. Let me see if I can pull up some First Solar. I think we sold some for some profit. Still have a little bit we're hanging on to, but if this is something you'd followed along with, those would be an awesome 80% return. You can get out of those before earnings on, earnings on the 4th. Not a bad one to take profit from. Costco's one. We've closed down most of them for ourselves. Let's see. I think I'm on Kevin's group. I still have a couple people with some Costco that had a cost basis that was a little more recent than others. So I've let those stay on for a little longer, but big profit we took in Costco, pushing 490. Wow, what a awesome run we've had in Costco. Great idea to look at profit taking there if you've had some leaps and whatnot for Costco. GM, might be okay as well. A little better than it's been in the past, so looking at some profits there. Where are we for GM? This was one of Kevin's. I believe he took those off, so even more of a reason. Let's see, Costco, GM, Ford. We had some Ford calls. I already talked about Ford a bit. Let's see. Several different ones. See over here our percentage return here, 70, almost 72% on January 23, 12. Might have to leave the 15s there, get a little better return. But 12 strike, January 23 calls, couldn't do bad to close those ones down. And then Visa, kind of the opposite situation. Probably at a point where we need to look at dollar cost averaging. But it could get down to 206. Let's look at it on a bigger chart. So you kind of see longer term where a little bit different support level could be. You could also make an argument of the top side of this sideways trend here is kind of where it's stopping, but if it doesn't stop there, I think that next point is 205, 206. So we're going to look at dollar cost averaging these leap calls. Most of them are at 250. Check out our cost basis here. 25. Good chance to get lower our cost basis significantly and get those down to have some returns later on. Kind of stupid that Visa is down. Not kinda, it's very stupid, because for heaven's sake, they beat all their numbers. And because they thought that maybe their growth would be closer to 17% than 20%, that apparently means that Visa needs to fall from 235 all the way down to 212. Whatever. All right, we'll deal with it as it comes, and we'll be profitable at a lower price as we dollar cost average those. So, all right. And that's pretty much all I had for you. Any other thoughts or questions before I sign off and call it a day for our trade findings? Not seeing any questions come in. I hope that means that we're all in agreement and you guys fully understand everything I'm talking about today. And if that's the case, then that's great. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me this morning. Try and think like a leader. It's okay to kind of let things happen sometimes and just observe, but try to be honest with yourself, and you'll be much better for it. All right, take care. Have a good weekend. We will see you next time.